Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Victory Fellowship Church, and welcome to our Saturday morning Bible study. We are in 2 Kings chapter 12, and I'm saying that real quick so I don't forget it, because I just opened up to it myself. So we're going to go to 2 Kings chapter 12. Here we are. And oh boy, we've been in the Old Testament, and we've been following after good kings and bad kings, and quite frankly, they were mostly bad kings. And what is it? What is this terrible thing that they did? Why were they bad? They were bad for being dumb. They worshipped other pretend gods. They worshipped Baal, a statue. Crazy. But our God, the Bible says our God is a jealous God. And when you look at the Ten Commandments, I think the first commandment is, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now the thing about that, no other gods, you may be out there and, sitting in your luxurious living room with your fireplace and your warmth, and because it's 16 degrees here where I'm at, not in this room, but in this location. And you may be warm and laid back and thinking, ha ha ha, I would never worship a statue. And you'd be right. You probably don't have. Some people do. Don't get me wrong. Some people have statues that they polish up and put in special places, and some put coins in them, and some rub their heads and make wishes on them, and it's not good. It's idolatry. But, they would probably say, well, I don't worship this statue. But when God says, thou shalt have no other gods before me, I am a jealous God, what he's basically saying is, don't put anything before him. The rich young ruler was a young man who obeyed all of the commandments since his youth. He never hurt anyone. He did unto others as he would have them to do unto him. He helped people. He obeyed. He was raised very well. But he had one thing that was more important to him than following after Jesus. What was that one thing? His riches. He was born wealthy. All he knew about was having all of his needs met materially. And unfortunately, it kept him from becoming a disciple, because Jesus made him an offer that he shouldn't have refused. Jesus said, sell all you have. Give the money to the poor. Why did he do that? Why both? Even our president of the United States right now, he's out of the day-to-day business of his big business. He's turned it over to others, but he didn't have to sell it all and give it to the poor to serve our country. Why did Jesus tell this young man, not only sell everything that you have, but give it to the poor? Well, the reason he did that was so that the young man in his heart would make a commitment to depend upon God for all of his needs. And that, my friends, is the evidence of putting God first. So that was the main sin that all these Old Testament kings committed, and it resulted in other sins. When you don't put God first, it's easy to fall into other sin. In the case of Ahab, when he allowed Jezebel to influence him, who worshipped Baal, he ended up being a party to a murder of an innocent man. false testimony against him, just so he could get a piece of land. He put a piece of land first. Terrible, I know. All right, well, I'm going to get out my glasses here so I can read. We are in 2 Kings, and we are in chapter 12. So let's see what's going on during this time in history. In the 7th year of Jehu, I think it's Jehu, Jehoash became king, and he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zibiah of Beersheba. Jehoash did what was right in the sight of the Lord all the days in which Jehoiada the priest instructed him. Oh man, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of men and women of God teaching others what they know. A priest instructed a king, and he did right all his years. That's wonderful. And Jehoash said to the priests, all the money of the dedicated gifts that are brought into the house of the Lord, each man's census money, each man's assessment money, and all the money that a man purposes in his heart to bring into the house of the Lord, let the priests take it themselves, each from his constituency, and let them repair the damages of the temple wherever any dilapidation is found. Now it was so by the 23rd year of King Jehoash that the priests had not repaired the damages of the temple. What? He told them, take all the money you need and repair the damages of the temple, but they didn't do it. So King Jehoash called Jehoiada the priest and the other priests and said to them, why have you not repaired the damages of the temple? Now therefore do not take more money from your constituency, but deliver it for repairing the damages of the temple. And the priests agreed that they would neither receive no more money from the people, nor repair the damages of the temple. They're not going to do either one. Then Jehoiada the priest took a chest, bored a hole in its lid, and set it beside the altar on the right side as one comes into the house of the Lord. And the priests who keep the door put there all the money brought into the house of the Lord. And so it was, whenever they saw that there was much money in the chest, that the king's scribe and the high priest came up and put it in bags, counted the money that was found in the house of the Lord. Then they gave the money which had been apportioned into the hands of those who did the work, who had the oversight of the house of the Lord, and they paid it out to the carpenters and builders who worked on the house of the Lord, and to masons and stone cutters, and for buying timber and hewn stone to repair the damage of the house of the Lord, and for all it was paid out to repair the temple. However, there was not made for the house of the Lord basins of silver, trimmers, sprinkling bowls, trumpets, any articles of gold or articles of silver from the money brought into the house of the Lord. But they gave that to the workmen, and they repaired the house of the Lord with it. Well, that's good. Moreover, they did not require an account from the men into whose hands they delivered the money to be paid to the workmen, for they dealt faithfully. Isn't that nice? You have somebody that's going to do work for you, and you don't have to have an accounting of how they're going to spend the money you give them. The money from the trespass offerings and the money from the sin offerings was not brought into the house of the Lord. It belonged to the priests. Hazael, king of Syria, went up and fought against Gath and took it. Then Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. And Jehoash, king of Judah, took all the sacred things that his fathers, Jehoshaphat and Jehoram and Ahaziah, the kings of Judah, had dedicated, and his own sacred things, and all the gold found in the treasures of the house of the Lord, and in all the king's house, and sent them to Hazael, king of Syria. Then he went away from Jerusalem. Now the rest of the acts of Joash and all that he did, Are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And his servants arose and formed a conspiracy, and they killed Joash in the house of Milo, which goes down to Silla. For Jozachar, the son of Simeah, and Jehozabad, the son of Shomer, his servant, struck him. So he died, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. Then Amaziah, his son, reigned in his place. Wow, here's a good guy, did well, and his own servants took his life. Chapter 13. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, became king over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 17 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. He did not depart from them. The anger of the Lord was aroused against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, the king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. See, what happened is, when we see a pattern here, when Israel sins, God allows their enemies to go overcome them. And there is a what do I want to say, a similarity to what happens to us Christians today. When, we are righteous apart from keeping the law. I can confidently say that. However, some people think, well, you get to just do whatever you need to do every day. Well, I have been heard to say you can sin as much as you want to, but when I say that, what I mean is you shouldn't want to. Yeah, you can sin as much as you want to and still be righteous. But Bible says, if you're following God and you're walking in his ways and you sin, he's faithful and just to forgive you your sin and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. But if you're saying, yippee, yahoo, this is what I want to do, I didn't know it's going to rhyme. Yippee, yahoo, this sin is what I want to do. If you're saying that, you're not asking for forgiveness. You're not repenting, and therefore you do not qualify for forgiveness. So anyway, just wanted to clear that point, because some people think that I'm a little too liberal there. But there are so many people that beat themselves down because they want to do what's right and they fail. And every time they do, Satan tells them it's all over, and that's a lie. If you want to get back up and get back in the race, then do it, because God will be with you in that. But here we have it. This young man, or I don't know if he was young, but this king sinned again. And as a result, Hazael, the king of Syria, was able to attack him. All right, so Jehoahaz pleaded with the Lord, and the Lord listened to him. Listen, there are a lot of us, and I say us including myself, because there are a lot of Christians who have messed up and gotten in a terrible pickle. The enemy has been able to attack and overcome us. What does that cause us to do? Well, if you're a believer, it causes you to cry out to God, Lord, help me. Jonah did it from the belly of a whale. Lord, help me. And the Lord listened, it says here, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them. Then the Lord gave Israel a deliverer, so that they escaped from under the hands of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents. Nevertheless, here we go, even though the Lord helped them, they did not depart from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who had made Israel sin, but they walked in those sins, and the wooden image also remained in Samaria. For he left the army of Jehoahaz only 50,000 horsemen, 10 chariots, and 10,000 foot soldiers, for the king of Syria had destroyed them and made them like the dust at the threshing. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz, all that he did and all his might, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Jehoahaz rested with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria. Then Jehoahaz his son reigned in his place. In the 37th year of Jehoahaz, king of Judah, Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, became king over Israel in Samaria and reigned 16 years. And he did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from all the sins of Jeroboam and the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, but walked in them. Now the rest of the acts of Joash, all that he did, and his might with which he fought against Amaziah, king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Joash rested with his fathers. Then Jeroboam sat on his throne, and Joash was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Elisha had become sick with the illness of which he would die. Now, isn't this interesting? This is Elisha, who was the servant of Elijah, both of whom were great prophets of God, both of whom did miracles, I think both of whom raised people from the dead. Well, actually, God did it through them. That prophet had become sick with the illness of which he would die. Then Joash, the king of Israel, came down to him and wept over his face and said, "O my father, the chariots of Israel and their horsemen." So in other words, the king of Israel was concerned about the wars that were going on around him. He didn't seem to care too much about the fact that Elijah was dying. And Elijah said to him, "Take a bow and some arrows." So he took himself a bow and some arrows. This is the king. And he said to the king, "Put your hand on the bow." And he put his hand on it. And Elijah put his hand on the king's hand. And he said, "Open the east window." And he opened it. And Elijah said, "Shoot." And he shot. And he said, "The arrow of the Lord's deliverance and the arrow of deliverance from Syria, you must strike the Syrians at Aphek until you've destroyed them." Then he said, "Take the arrows." So he took them. And he said to the king of Israel, "Strike the ground." So he struck 3 times and stopped. And the man of God was angry with him and said, "You should have struck 5 or 6 times. Then you would have struck Syria till you had destroyed it. But now you will only strike Syria 3 times. Then Elijah died, and they buried him. And the raiding bands from Moab invaded the land in the spring of the year. So it was, as they were burying a man, that suddenly they spied a band of raiders, and they put the man in the tomb of Elijah. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elijah, he revived and stood on his feet. So Elisha died, and they buried him. And then somebody else was being buried, and they put that man in the tomb of Elijah. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elijah, he revived and stood on his feet. And Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. But the Lord was gracious to them, had compassion on them, and regarded them because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not yet destroy them or cast them from his presence. Even though the Lord allowed them to go through some troubles because they were sinning and they were worshiping the wrong false god, he never forsook them. Now Hazael, king of Syria, died. Then Ben-Hadad, his son, reigned in his place. And Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, recaptured from the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, the cities which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoahaz, his father, by war. 3 times Joash defeated him and recaptured the cities of Israel. 3 times, isn't that interesting? It's the number of times that the king struck the ground with the bow and arrows. All right, chapter 14. In the 2nd year of Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, became king. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoaddan of Jerusalem, and he did what was right in the sight of the Lord. Hallelujah. Yet not like his father David. He did everything as his father Joash had done. However, the high places were not taken away, and the people still sacrificed and burned incense on the high places. Now it happened as soon as the kingdom was established in his hand, that he executed his servants who had murdered his father the king. But the children of the murderers he did not execute, according to what is written in the book of the law of Moses, in which the Lord commanded, saying, Fathers shall not be put to death for their children, nor shall children be put to death for their fathers, but a person shall be put to death for his own sin. He killed 10,000 Edomites in the valley of Salt, and took Selah by war, and called its name Jaheel to this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us face one another in battle. And Jehoahaz, king of Israel, sent to Amaziah, king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give your daughter to my son as wife. And a wild beast that was in Lebanon passed by and trampled the thistle. You have indeed defeated Edom, and your heart was lifted you up. Glory in that, and stay home, for why should you meddle with trouble, so that you fall, you and Judah with you? But Amaziah would not heed. Therefore Jehoash, king of Israel, went out. So he and Amaziah, king of Judah, faced one another. And Judah was defeated by Israel, and every man fled to his tent. Then Jehoash, king of Israel, captured Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Jehoash, the son of Amaziah, at Beth Shemesh. And he went to Jerusalem and broke down the wall of Jerusalem, from the gate of Ephraim to the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver, all the articles that were found in the house of the Lord and in the treasures of the king's houses, hostages, and returned to Samaria. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoiada which he did, his might, and how he fought with Amaziah king of Judah, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Jehoash rested with his fathers and was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Then Jeroboam his son reigned in his place. Amaziah the son of Joash king of Judah lived 15 years after the death of Joash the son of Jehoahaz king of Israel. And they formed a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem. And he fled to Lachish, but they sent after him to Lachish and killed him there. Then they brought him on horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all the people of Judah took Azariah, who was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father Amaziah. He built Elath and restored it to Judah after the king rested with his fathers. In the 15th year of Amaziah the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, became king in Samaria and reigned 41 years. He did evil in the sight of the Lord. He did not depart from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who had made Israel sin. Excuse me. He restored the territory of Israel from the entrance of Hamath to the sea of Arba, according to the word of God of Israel, which he had spoken through his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, who was from Gath Hepher. For the Lord saw that the affliction of Israel was very bitter, and whether bond or free, there was no helper for Israel. And the Lord did not say he would blot out the name of Israel from under heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam, the son of Joash. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam and all that he did, his might and how he made war, how he recaptured for Israel Damascus and Hamath, what had belonged to Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? So Jeroboam rested with his fathers, the kings of Israel. Then Zechariah his son reigned in his place. All right, well, that brings us to 2 Kings chapter 15. A lot of reading in this, basically the events of different kings over both Israel and Judah. Keep in mind there were two Hebrew nations. One that stayed with David's lineage, and one, the rest of the nations. And they have not yet regrouped back together. So we will pick it up next Saturday at 2 Kings chapter 15. And don't forget, fellowship with us. Oh, did we have a wonderful church service last Sunday. Woo! God arrived and our enemies were scattered. He anointed us. The message was powerful and very needed. I'm sorry you missed out on it, but don't miss out on what happens here tomorrow. Victory Fellowship Church, 11 a.m., just north of Newaygo. Come, be a part of it. You need us and we need you. God bless you. We'll see you later.